Hello guys, my name is Dobrivoje Lale-Erić. I'm coming from the Center for the Promotion of Science here in Belgrade. Actually, it's just less than 100 meters away, so maybe later on you could drop by to see our place. We'll try today to present you one of our most recent projects called European Artificial Intelligence Lab, which is lasting now for a year, and we are just about to start with first public program activities. However, as I guess that you're a mixture of our local people with people coming abroad, I will just briefly introduce you to the Center for the Promotion of Science. We are a public institution established almost a decade ago with a goal to increase scientific literacy among our citizens and to establish science education and contemporary pedagogical approaches when we're speaking about scientific knowledge as a root of our educational system, not as a replacement for those existing forms, but actually as something which is relevant, reliable, and necessary for our generations nowadays, especially those young ones. And doing really diverse programs, activities, events, we are mainly actually targeting pupils, school kids, students. However, the overall audience is the general public in Serbia and even wider. Around 5 years ago, we somehow got in touch and started to collaborate extensively with colleagues from the Ars Electronica from Linz, Austria. I'm sure that many of you are aware of this place and things they're growing there. And although activities related to the Ars Electronica are a bit far away for things that we are trying to achieve at our center, actually this sense of doing something edgy, something which is really on the very end of our program activities, give us a lot of inspiration to go further and to develop really unique and specific programs, especially having in mind our position, which is primarily focused on science and research. In 2014, we've been part of the European Digital Art and Science Network, first large-scale European project, which brought together several important cultural and scientific partners, including us and 6 and 7 from all over Europe, with 4 major European scientific institutions, such as CERN in Switzerland, European Space Agency, European Southern Observatory, Fraunhofer in Germany, and many others. The main idea of a creation of such a network was actually the realization of possibility for a real collaboration between arts and science and development of a platform which could bring together professionals from both sides, sometimes only through a dialogue, sometimes as a collision, sometimes as an encounter, but with a goal that working together in such a synergy, we could provide some results which are important and relevant for nowadays, to create completely new artistic forms which are communicating with generations nowadays and which could open actually new domains, new areas for both inside arts and inside scientists. And since that network was highly successful and we actually achieved and produced much more than it was expected, we continue this collaboration, and last year we started with this AI lab, in short, project. Now we have 13 initial partners all over Europe, and we have external partners, and those are scientific institutions willing to join our network and provide space, expertise, capacity, infrastructure for developing these quite a unique concepts and ideas. And why we decided from this wide, large territory of everything which could belong to both art and science as a joint endeavor, why we focused only on the AI. Nowadays, artificial intelligence as a term, as a concept, as a super scientific power, in a way, is omnipresent. And we can see it and read about it and even experience it, explore it, learn about it from many perspectives. However, having in mind, especially popular culture and, on the other hand, media coverage and attention, the situation is very much polarized. Generally, people who are outside this whole concept are either looking at the AI as a superpower which will solve ultimately all issues and produce harmonious and well-being world, on the other hand as a mean which humanity produced and which will ultimately destroy us and take over our civilization. Of course, both stories are quite extreme, and the truth is, as always, probably something in between. But actually, speaking about AI, speaking about artificial intelligence as a term, we have to be very careful with the content and meaning, because it's not fully clear what it represents. Current development and state of the affairs inside science are not providing any reliable document and proof that actually still is existing something as the artificial intelligence. Therefore, the large, both conceptual and educational, but also scientific and research territory is existing and is inviting us to join in it and to explore it by means we can use. Therefore, we are bringing together people from both science and research and all artistic disciplines to communicate, to discuss, to analyze possibilities of the AI today and those that will appear and come in the future. From the perspective of our center, our goal is actually to strengthen our educational setting, and not only speaking about formal educational system, but even more in informal educational activities as a way of life learning process with a concept of the AI which is influencing our lives on daily basis. Nevertheless, speaking about data science, speaking about machine learning, speaking about neurosciences, which will be one of our main topics today, we are actually speaking on completely new research domains which should invite ordinary people to take participation, to participate in that process and be able to decide about our joint future, the life which is appearing ultimately as a result of scientific and research endeavors. And having that context in mind, who else could be more capable, more open, more professional than artists to inspire people to think deeper, to be more engaged, to pose questions, and of course, ultimately to foster critical thinking as a necessary tool in the process of the AI. We just choose this lovely machine art piece project, whatever, as a case study of our story today, and hopefully we'll be able to bring it next year to one of our programs to show it. Sorry, just. Just a second. Okay. It's a work by Japanese artist Takuyuki Todo, exhibited last year at the Ars Electronica Festival, but also already presented at various events across Europe. And is there anything more natural, more inspirational, more open than artistic project dealing with artificial visions and robotics, which is inviting us to think deeper about our future and actually our presence as well. From technical perspective, how the project functions. We have open calls, 4 announced and probably some additional as well, which are open for people from all over the globe. Primarily they are targeting artists, but actually all creative communities are inviting to join us. You're applying with your ideas, concepts, explanations why those new scientific and technological territories motivating you for taking this kind of endeavors and approach, and why would you like to go to spend quite a lot of time inside major influential scientific institutions in order to learn more about those concepts and try to elaborate that and integrate it into your research and your artistic concepts. The current one is actually still open, ongoing. It is for the Futures Institute, one of the major AI-related institutes in Europe currently, located at the University of Edinburgh, and I think my colleagues will mention later on its goals and means. This is just a representation how it was in the past. In one of the previous calls, it's one of our artists which won a residency at the European Southern Observatory, which is located in Chile. Is one of the best places at the planet to observe universe because its location and circumstances are perfectly fitted for that cause. From very formal perspective, the program which is staying behind the project European Artificial Intelligence Lab is called Creative Europe, and it has its own policies, ideas, missions, goals. And here you can see some which could be maybe relevant for your kind of community, your bubble inside this whole creative industry and artistic endeavors. And actually, many models that you are presenting or undertaking inside your everyday work are actually seen as a perfect roles for future developments and future concepts. From the jury criteria, from the artistic criteria, there are just several very basic, very general goals, and I think all kinds of projects dealing with contemporary society, contemporary science, contemporary ideas should address the similar goals. Speaking about our center and our activities inside the project, and I will just stop for this introduction here, we already undertake one major tour in order to present what people in the Ars Electronica and 2 other partners in Ljubljana in Slovenia are doing. And actually we are just about to start with our first large-scale event called R+ Neuroscience in mid-November. I will ask, therefore, my colleague Peter, also from the Center for the Promotion of Science, to actually present the wider context and introduce our speakers today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lale. Okay, as Lale said, the Center for the Promotion of Science, our main purpose is to do science communication, that is to communicate scientific knowledge to the general public. And these activities we're talking about today are our Art plus Science activities, which started, as Lale said, in 2014. And they started really humbly as a side program of the classic way science communication is done. But these activities evolved during the years, so now they grew in a big yearly manifestation, Art plus Science, this year dedicated to neurosciences. And as these activities grew, also these Art plus Science collaborations between scientists and artists also evolved and changed over time. So they started off, we had just one scientific mentor overlooking artists who were interested in different scientific subjects. But through the years, we now have established teams of scientists, not just helping, but working with artists and producing original work to communicate science to the general public in this specific artistic manner. So, yes, as Lala said, we have different activities. This year, the introduction to this artificial intelligence lab project is dedicated to neurosciences. So there was this open lighthouse residency, this big worldwide call for artists. But what the center does on a local level, we encourage our artists to apply for this global residency, which is very hard for Serbian artists to get them. But we, from the applications from Serbia and even the wider region, we do a national selection. So this year, the topic was neurosciences, and our winner is here with us. It's Jasna Jovicevic, and also Milica Jankovic, who was her, let's say, scientific mentor and co-creator in this process. So I would like to ask them to join us, and from each of their perspectives say how this collaboration went on, and after this we'll start a discussion, hopefully, with the public. So, Milica, please.
Thank you for the nice introduction, and I would like to say something about neuroscience in global, because probably you are not so much familiar with that field, and of course I will tell something about the concept of bionic or artificial man. Maybe some of us can remember that in 70s there was a very popular television series by the title The $6 Million Man. And the main role was a man that had some bioimplants, and he was better, faster, and stronger than other people. But in that period, it was really science fiction. But in the 21st century, it is not only a science fiction. And on the right side of this slide. On the right side of this slide, you can see the first Bionic Man. It was developed in the United Kingdom by the team that was from the University College London, and they developed the first Bionic Man, and that man had some artificial organs. You can see which organs that man had: heart, spleen, he could speak, he could see by cameras, hear. It had artificial extremities, arms and legs. But this man didn't have some organs. He didn't have liver, he didn't have intestines, he didn't have brain, nothing like a human brain. And that is the reason why we continue with developing and using artificial intelligence to imitate the natural human brain. The brain is consisting of many, many neurons. What is the number of neurons? On this image, you can see the image from Amazonia forest, and there are many trees. So that forest has more than 100 billion trees, and the number of neurons in our brain is comparable with that number. Neurons in our brain are interconnected in some special way. Neurons are not connected randomly to each other. They have special connections, and if we don't use some connections, then they become destroyed. On this slide, you can see something that we call functional maps. What this image on the left side shows. This image shows a musician that plays violin, and during that task, the player used 4 functional regions on the human brain. When he pressed the instrument, then he used motor cortex, and that motor cortex is situated here on the human brain. When he hear what he plays, then he use auditory cortex, when it is around ears, of course. When he see what he pressed, then he use occipital region that is engaged in the vision process. And also when he touch something, the wire, then he use his somatosensory cortex. So all these parts of the human brain are engaged in the process of playing the music. And now, how we can record, how we can see what the brain tells. Signals that are from the brain are very small. They are in the range of microvolts, so we need very sophisticated amplifiers for that reason. And such instruments, such amplifiers in the past were very big. It should be somewhere here in the whole corner. But today, the technology grew up, and now we have amplifiers that are small, that you can put on your head and go anywhere with that device. And an example of such device is presented here. This is a device that has the cap with 24 channels, 24 electrodes that can sense the signal, the small signals from the brain. And here is the amplifier. So sensors that are on the cap are placed on the head, and these electrodes are connected to the amplifier, and further processing and visualization could be performed on a mobile phone or a tablet or in some other way. Also, furthermore, there are some devices that could record brain waves, but that looks like phones, headphones. So the electrodes that are here are hidden in these phones, for example, on this girl. So the way how we acquire signals is better now than that was before, and we have now devices that we can use in real-time situations. We can use such devices for marketing purposes, for some psychology studies and so on, to see is some person tired or not, and so on. There are many applications for that. And we used one version of brain-computer interface in the project with Jasna. And here you can see some parts of that system. Here is OpenBCI system. It's the platform that is open hardware, open software, and here are some students from our laboratory who enjoyed in this project. You can see here the half of the brain of this project. The other part of the brain belongs to Jasna's team, but here are people from School of Electrical Engineering who joined and enjoyed this project. I'm personally also a Nebojša from the Laboratory for Biomedical Instrumentation and Technologies. Jelena is a senior and she is associate professor in the field of signal processing. And on this side you can see 6 enthusiastic girls who were involved in the developing of this project. And for the end, I would like to show you how we can see what in signals that are recorded, how we can see what Jasna can induce in listeners by her music. So on this screen here, you can see brain activities on 4 channels. And when Jasna plays some relaxed music, then some part of the frequency band that we call alpha band grew up. So the green bar growing up when the music is relaxed. And when she plays something that is not so relaxing, something that is disturbing, then beta activities are larger. So this yellow bar grow up. And that's all from my technical side of the story. I would like now to give the microphone to Jasna, and she will explain.
Okay, and I forgot, I introduced Milica as just a scientific mentor in this, but Milica is an associate professor at the School of Electrical Engineering. Assistant, sorry. University of Belgrade, and she's head of the Laboratory for Biomedical Instrumentation and Technology. And she's interested in software-designed instrumentation, medical image acquisition and analysis, and with the research focus on medical instrumentation design and its evaluation in clinical environments. Okay, and now I'd like to introduce the other half of the brain. It was said, Jasna Jovicevic. She holds a BA in jazz saxophone from Franz Liszt Music Academy in Budapest, also an MA in composition from York University in Toronto. She is currently a PhD student in transdisciplinary studies of contemporary arts and media at the Faculty of Media and Communication in Belgrade. She has released several solo albums, also working in education as an instructor at the College of Applied Sciences in Subotica. And her work is focused on interdisciplinary approaches to musical improvisation, which you'll see through this work. So I would like to...
Thank you. Hi, everybody. This probably is the first time in public I can thank to all these guys that you already heard talking about this project, and it's all about me at the end, which is really fantastic because I don't see other way that I would ever do such a research and production of this kind of project without this huge help. So this is maybe the moment I can thank. And if there are any artists in this audience, I would suggest you to apply for the next how many? Three of them more to apply, and maybe get in my position and have the honor to participate. So I will say a few words from a different perspective. You already had chance to hear about the whole project, the production and the scientific part of this project, but I would like to tell you a few things as an artist and as a musician, really talking from that perspective. As you heard, I'm a jazz musician. I play saxophones and bass clarinet and space drum, and I'm a composer. And as an improvising musician, I was really eager to learn about different kind of communication between artists during the improvisation. This is my part that I wanted to research further, and I found this way of research with the neuroscience very interesting, and that actually made me think differently about communication and music production. So I wanted to tell you first about the process we did. Milica's team was with me all the time. I don't know anything about neuroscience, but I took research as an artist. I was interested how human body can be, how can produce different kind of communication and interaction, how human body becomes a mediator in music production, which is very different from me standing on stage playing saxophone with all the other guys, and I play something, then somebody else plays something, and then we do something together. So this is a very different approach to improvisation, which I was interested in. What we did, we use EEG monitor, which is monitoring brain waves. And then, and I play in the same time. So if I play, I can watch on the interface in the real time what's going on with somebody's brain waves. It tells me, as Milica said, it tells me if it's alpha, beta, or theta brain wave. It means that it's a different reaction to what I play. So I realized during this research that if I play saxophone, it produces different brain wave to the receiver than if it's a space drum. Or if I play long notes, it makes you feel and think differently than if I play for you more rhythmical things. And so this is kind of it's very, I come from yoga actually, which maybe many of you wouldn't appreciate that if you're scientists. But anyway, this was my kind of way I did the research. Milica explained to me, I learned a lot from the scientific team about beta, alpha, and theta waves and what they mean actually when you read them. So then I put it together with the different emotions and the way I can make you feel and think certain things by producing sound. So then I learned if I play pentatonic scale, that will make you go in alpha waves. And then I learned, but if I play soprano saxophone, you will go to beta. And then I will put some effects that will make you nervous, and then I still have you in beta. So it actually taught me that I can, as a musician, manipulate your brain waves, which is really great as a creative process, when you realize that not the only interaction between us is just made by instruments, but actually we are all in waves. So then I realized that the music sound waves can be on a similar level with brain waves, and that the new kind of communication starts. Coming from this research, project I am making this year is called Sedim I brinem za nju, means I sit and worry about her. And it's, most of all, it's autobiographic. It's about mothers and their daughters. I'm a mother of a daughter. So it is very special kind of bond, and a very special, all the mothers who are in audience will know what I mean. It's a special kind of worry that is constant, and it's all the time, we would say, in your brain. So in a concept, I put together this worry about daughters as the constant brain wave in our head. So the work we will be doing in November 14th, it's going to be about, we're going to have 4 mothers sitting in front that are monitored. Their brain waves are monitored, and in a real time, they will have triggers they will hear coming from sound from their daughters, I already recorded, and they will react in a certain way. These brain waves are going to be sonified. This is what we are working on now. So the brain waves will come out in the speakers as sounds. And on these sounds that everybody can hear, I will improvise as a musician. And by improvising, I will influence their brain waves again. And what they hear, they will react and again produce different kinds of brain waves that will come back to me as sounds, which will influence me. What means that we will actually interact and communicate together. We will improvise, because you cannot control your brain waves in such a way. Maybe I think I can manipulate, but it's just an improvisation. So we get a perpetual interaction, communication that actually produces a music piece. And the music piece will be coming from these brain waves and from me interacting with them. So at the end, what was interesting, so this is kind of a map that I want to do. There are certain things I will trigger them with sounds, and then I am hoping to produce certain brain waves coming from them that will produce music. And this is my map. How I want to manipulate them. So at the end, for me, well, we talked about it. Maybe I should say how this affects my artistic work. It really affects a lot, because with this project, the whole creative process becomes different. It produces a new piece of art that I cannot control, but I can just maybe have a diagram. I cannot even make scores because there are no scores, it's a brain waves. So it puts me in a different, I'm also mediator, they're mediators, and the whole artistic outcome becomes objective. It's not about what I want to play, how I want to sound. It becomes very objective, and I don't feel it's my music, it comes from brain. So that really made my musical expression much richer and different and new. So maybe that's all I want to say for now, and you're all welcome to come on November 14th for this music performance.
Okay, thank you, Jasna. So yeah, as Jasna said, this year's manifestation will be open on the 14th of November, and as most of our activities, it's in different spaces, so it'll be around here in the Knez Mihailova Street at the French Institute, the Hungaricum Collegium, I don't know the exact English name, and the main exhibition and Jasna's work will be in the Gallery of Arts and Sciences, of Academy of Arts and Sciences, Serbia, their technical gallery. So I invite you all to come, and all of our, yes, this is the official. So, and all of these manifestations aren't just exhibitions of artists. They have a whole array of different workshops for kids, popular lectures from scientists for the general public, master classes by artists to art students, different workshops, and everything. So I invite you to see more of the, and I would just like to come back to this. And yes, this project is ongoing, so this is the first event we are planning in this. But for next year, the focus will be more on artificial intelligence, so it will be art plus AI of some sort. It will be in June and July. And in 2021, we're linking the two hot topics of today, so climate change with artificial intelligence. So we'll see. Also for the end, we have a big conference, Art Science, because for us it's important to have a theoretical background to all of this art and science we're talking about. So this is it from our side. I hope you have some questions for our participants. Yes? No? Okay, then maybe I can start with. Okay.
Well, the only thing I wanted to ask is if the entrance is free and if we'll play some role in the research of, if we'll play some active role in the research of art plus neuroscience or art plus AI, and if the entrance is free, that's my question. But yeah, the other question is if we will play as guests some active role in, if we'll contribute to the project itself. To art plus neuroscience in November and July, like in general.
Well, actually, we're a bit late, so it's not yet online, but this is the website, cpn.rs/art and science. And then you will have like the full program, which actually this year much more focused on educational activities, especially for young people, for students of art faculties, academies. Jasna will do one masterclass at the Faculty of Musical Arts here in Belgrade. Another artist, also our guy, but from Vienna, Žarko Aleksić, he's doing masterclass at the Faculty of Fine Arts. Here in Belgrade, we will have a program with the Faculty for Media and Communication as well. We will undertake even daily educational programs, but mainly for school kids at our science club, which is here nearby in the Kralja Petra Street. And also we'll have educational programs in the gallery of Science and Technology of the Serbian Academy of Science and Arts, where actually Jasna's work will be performed premierly and later presented during the event starting on November 14. There we will also have an educational program together with Serbian Society for Neurosciences. They have like a internal students chapter, which is addressing exactly young generation inside the whole neurosciences story. But going actually even wider, just to emphasize, I think one, for us, from the center, major point. This is the first time that I think anyone tried and anyone actually succeeded in bringing together one artist, Jasna in this case, to one major scientific institution, which is a School of Electrical Engineering. So I really want to thank, first of all, to Milica, who is leading the laboratory inside the faculty, for her openness and willingness to accept our proposals, Jasna's concept, and go further in its development. It is really like a major breakthrough event, because for our local setting here in Serbia, it is very unusual to have this kind of collaboration, especially on such a level. In some previous rounds, in previous art and science programs, we had like sort of scientific mentors, collaborations, teams working together, but this is first coming from the institutional perspective. And we're planning to go further, and already, except for the School of Electrical Engineering, some other major Serbian academic or research institutes, like Biological Institute Seniša Stanković, Mathematical Institute of Serbian Academy and Arts, and some other even outside Belgrade, they are willing to go in such an endeavor. And for us, it's not only about the result, which we'll all see, hopefully, on November 14 and experience those results. It's about process. Because the scientific process is much more often coming to an end. It's not producing any positive result, but that's the purpose, to explore and try different paths and then to see which one could bring you further. So in this case, with this artistic endeavor, we'll try to see whether it could work, it could function, or we should try something else. And on the other hand, it is also very important, I think, speaking now in the name of research community, that I think they also need some sort of external impulse, some sort of someone coming from outside, some outsider in the research community who will maybe share with them some alternative ideas, who could maybe inspire them to look where no one else is looking. And actually, that was one major point by one famous physicist from CERN a few years ago: look where no one else is looking. So that would be the goal and the framework of our art and science projects and endeavors.
And just to come back to AI, we're also starting within this manifestation like a series of lectures and workshops for artists and for all creatives to get them more familiar with AI. So we'll start with a workshop by Uroš Kočadinac on using machine learning in different creative processes. So this will be maybe interesting for anybody who is interested in, because when we say artificial intelligence, people get scared and don't know how to apply it and use it even if they want to. So we're opening this possibility also for artists. So this was what. Are there any more questions from the audience?
I want to know if your music had the same impact on people depending on their the music that they like to listen to. Did the person who likes to listen to some ballads or rave music had the same experience as the person who likes metal?
Yeah, this is always an interesting question, because you're asking me, is it subjective or objective, right? That's always a big question, and it was the biggest part of my research. We are still in the research. It came out that it's subjective, but then going further into the research, I realized that there are certain things that we react on the same way. First thing, you don't hear what kind of, this is very like, this is improvising music. I don't play songs. We did some with the tracks, some tracks, and that it came out that it's pretty much objective, that it comes out that certain things we react the same way. The interesting research here is that I don't play a certain genre, So you can't be that subjective. It goes really, really into your brain without knowledge of, oh, I like this, I don't like. This is why it's interesting, because maybe it's before you like or you dislike. The answer comes earlier than your judgment. So that's why I like this. And then it came out that everybody reacts on F major pentatonic scale. Everybody reacts the same way. On this instrument you just saw, space drum, everybody will go down to theta waves. No matter how active you like, or you are a rocker or metal, I don't know, whichever ballads, doesn't matter. There are certain just waves, just frequencies. We work with frequencies here because it's improvised music. So I don't give you a song. You say, oh, I know this song, so you react nicely. No, I don't give you a song. I give you frequencies, and then it becomes interesting. And I think if we do further research, maybe in the future, I hope, then we can find some structure here that it's possible to actually systematize. This is my big ambition. But yeah, it could be subjective and objective. We cannot say. Is this the answer? Yeah. It's still in the research.
Okay, maybe I'd like to pose a question to get it back to science. We know when these art plus science collaborations, how the artist gets their artwork out of this. So for them, this is. But what do the scientists get out of this collaboration? How has this maybe changed your view on your research or your teaching or anything? So maybe something on that.
Especially when you are an engineer, it's good to be in more relaxed atmospheres in some time. So it was very nice to be with Jasna, because when we see the device doesn't work, then she's here with space drum to calm the situation. That's that side. And on the other hand, we had the great opportunity to make some very attractive projects for students. So you saw that we had 6 students that were involved here, and they did one project that was during the school year, and after that we arranged for them the student practice. So in that way they continue to work on some topic that is attractive and that could be spread in the future to their graduate works or master thesis or maybe PhD thesis, we'll see. So that was great impact from that side. Is that the answer?
Anyone else?
What do you do with the data that you get from this research in the sense of AI? Are you using it to train neural networks and then apply it to something? Or?
No, at this moment, no. But because for artificial intelligence, you need to have a big data set. So first you have to design the experiment and then to make the scenario that will be repeated for every subject. But at the beginning, we didn't know what will be the scenario. So in this phase, we are in designing a scenario that we will further use for recording the database. And then you can apply methods of artificial intelligence.
Okay, I think we should then close our session today. Again, I would like really to invite you to visit our events, R plus Neuroscience this year and AI in the mid of 2020 and AI plus Climate in 2021. Also, after the conference, please stop by to visit our science club and makerspace. It's actually fully open, available for all kind of creative collaborations. All our machines, equipment, materials are free and available for anyone who would like to join our team, which is working at the Science Club in Kralja Petra, and we'll also quite soon publish all program details and information, and all procedures for applying and joining educational programs are online. So actually just follow our social medias and cpn.rs/art and science. Thank you for your attention, and hopefully we'll have a chance to collaborate in the future.